And I'm Louise Wadley from the Hebden Bridge Film Festival, and we are live on our first day of the film festival. And I could not be more delighted to tell you that people have been online since 6 o'clock watching the films. You are so enthusiastic, our audience. Today, I'm delighted to say that we've got guest Nabila Alzaeem, the Rotary Peace Fellow from Bradford University Peace Studies Centre. Nice to see you, Nabila.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure to be with you. Thank you for this invitation.
It is our pleasure to have you with us. And this wonderful film, SOUFRA, that some people have already watched. What an inspiring film. But I wonder, Nabila, could you help us by giving us a little bit of context? So Mariam Shah, this amazing woman, she's in Beirut, but explain to people a little bit what's happening there. What's the refugee situation?
Oh, this is a great question. Nice to be with you. Actually, I wanted to talk a little bit about Mariam as a Palestinian who is a refugee, and she came to stay in Lebanon since 1948. This is like what happens in 1948 when Israeli damaged many of the Palestinian villages. It damaged around 478 villages out of 585 in different areas in 1948 land, and many of the people, because of this damage, are fleeing and escaping and went to different countries. And one of these countries they flee to, it is Lebanon. I think it is more than 800,000 Palestinians were immigrant at that time to look for peace and find their space to live in dignity. And I think part of this people who are coming to Lebanon, like Mariam fathers and the grandfather and something, start launching their life in different countries. But Mariam was lucky to be in Lebanon because of her family who are fleeing in from 1948, and then she started to overcome what's happening. As you know, to being immigrant or to being refugee, this is something not easy. So Mariam decided to make her life to change the situation, not to be like in a dire economic situation. Mariam starts to think differently and encourage and motivate the ladies around her and listen to their ideas and establish this amazing project. Mariam is,
So can I just ask,
yeah,
sorry to interrupt you, but just so that people understand, if you are a refugee in Lebanon, and it's wonderful that people were able to go there, but my understanding is that you can't own property and that you have not the full set of rights. So Mariam has somehow set up a business, a catering business with other refugee women.
yes,
That's extraordinary, isn't it?
this is something amazing because imagine she is a refugee. She didn't she didn't have the same rights of Lebanon, didn't have the same right of the real inhabitants of this land. So she tries to fight to find a path to launch her project, as we said, and as you watch in the film, how many license she has to get, how many approvals she has to get, and how many people she has to discuss the idea with to make this dream alive, and how many days she wait in nervous and worried. This is like, imagine when I am a lady, it's like if I am Lebanon, if I am Egyptian, if I am anyone else in my homeland, it will be easy and everyone will support me. But because of being a refugee, you will find many blocks, many challenges in front of your eyes. And really, Maryam, it's a brave lady. She's a brave lady because she's a fight and she's demand, because rights cannot be taken. Rights you have to demand and to be like strong women. And Maryam gave us a very strong picture about to what extent women can it change the world.
And I think you're right, Nabila. When we all are stuck in a situation, it's very hard to think of a third way or a way outside you're not allowed this, you're not allowed that. I mean, really, she must have had such incredible bravery and
Yeah.
persistence, but also imagination, because it requires imagination that you can believe, okay, they say we can't do it, but I don't care. And anyone who's watched the film, I'm not spoiling it by telling you there are a lot of things that go wrong for the business on the way, her dream of setting up this catering business. But does she stop? No, she doesn't take no for an answer.
she will start. Imagine as well, in according to the like economic situation nowadays in Lebanon, regarding to the collapse of the currency. Now it's like poverty rate it's over than 50, and unemployment rate it's over 80%. And according in this very challenging atmosphere, Mariam insists to launch its own project, encouraging her peers, and they are launching and they carry the responsibility about whatever will happen. And then now, thanks God, they are succeeded and give a strong image about if the women need something, they have to fight and they will get it. Don't stop, don't give up.
Yeah, I think what's interesting for me about this film is I learned so much about, lots of things. I learned a little bit about Beirut society. It's very, very obvious
Yeah,
that she was having to think outside of just her narrow area of where she's allowed to be. And the fact that she thought, okay, we can actually make beautiful food for people who, everywhere. So can you give us a little bit of background? So at the moment, I think most people know, but not everyone. What's the situation if you are a Palestinian refugee at the moment?
the situation is imagine because if you I will talk about refugee as a general because we are like refugee living in different areas, like we are not allowed to have like apartments, we are not allowed to have license for work sometimes, we are not allowed to plan to do something. Imagine they want us as a refugee to be like workers, like hand workers, just to do work for the people with like very very cheap salaries, as if we are like not something like deserve more money. They don't want us to see us invest our money or something. And recently, the Lebanon people, the Lebanon government are putting some obstacles. Like there is too many refugee like living outside Lebanon, send money to their people inside Lebanon. They put restrictions about receiving this money. They make the life of the people there more hard and
Yeah.
more difficult. They like to complicate, to make it like very, very, very damaging. But the people from their inside have a hope and they try to be resilient. They try to find solution. They don't just sit and say what we shall do. They try to do something. But actually, we have to think like we those people who are fleeing from their home, they are looking for peace, looking for better opportunity. If we cannot give them this better opportunity, we have to ask like international agencies, international human rights organization to help, not making their life difficult. Being refugee is something is not easy, but it's not our decision as a Palestinian. This is something we enforced to do it, and our hope is to come back to our country and to have our lands and to enjoy being there. And but at the moment no one can help in this because of the political situation and the long-term conflict between Palestine and Israel. So as you know, we are as a Palestinian refugee, we don't like wanted this situation to be happened, but it happened out of our will and out of our control. So please, if you can help, just help and make our life more better instead of making it more complicated.
Yeah, I think, and I think what's hard for people to, I mean, some people know about obviously the conflict between Palestine and Israel, but I think also that, we also see that there are refugees in many countries, and Lebanon has many refugees, particularly with the ongoing conflicts and with Syria and everything. So
Yeah,
what's interesting to me is how Mariam brings so many people from different cultures, different backgrounds together.
yeah. Mariam succeeded like to bring women ideas, to make like brainstorming and bring women ideas in a spot and to work on it. She succeeded to make like 10 women's more than 10 women's like effective, empowering them, give them the power, the strength to demand, to work, to find solution, to bring money to their families, to improve their economic situation, not only depending on the fund they received from some any places, but they now productive, have their own money and can make whatever they want for their families.
And because obviously, you know, there's been an amazing cookbook. I noticed that some questions are asking what's happened since. I'm happy to say that SOUFRA has kept going and that the women are still catering. Obviously, as you point out, the collapse of the currency in Lebanon has made the situation very challenging, but there are amazing supports that they have pulled in. Extraordinary. You might have noticed that there are all different kind of executive producers who've helped, like Susan Sarandon and lots of people who are supporting, but we do know that they do need support. So we will put some details up on our website. I believe you can buy the SOUFRA cookbook, but also we're co-presenting this session. I'm delighted to say, and I'm apologizing now, with the Calderdale Palestinian support group. So we would love you to be in touch on their Facebook page. People can support that way, or they can donate. And also just to go online and see about SOUFRA, we'll make sure you get the details so that people can buy the cookbook. But what I was going to say is this was obviously filmed over a period of a couple of years. What do you think, you know, what do you think the lesson really is about what Mariam has managed to do?
What, sorry, what the layer?
I'm sorry, I'll just get you to start again because your camera froze for a short second.
Sorry, I didn't hear the question because
I beg your pardon. I'll start the question again. I just wondered what you think the lesson that we can all take from Mariam and what she's done within such a difficult context, because you obviously know much more of the detail of what the real day-to-day life is like for refugees. Just
yeah,
getting water every
it
day,
is
getting
very,
medical help.
it is a very, very strong lesson that Mariam teach all women. Not, it's like, don't be victims. Don't play the role of victims. You are not victims. You are strong. You have internal power. If you want something, just fight for it. And like, if you have your own idea and you believe in what you will achieve, don't care about the challenges. Just overcome step by step, and then you will reach your dream as well. She gives us a hope as a woman. She gives us the hope to be resilient, to do something for our families, not depending on like parents, on the men for supporting us. We are, as women, we can support ourselves, and we can be like the supporter and the hope for every woman who needs to change her life.
And a lot of people think about, oh, I don't want to watch something about conflict, but I think this film really helps people enter the story in a different way, doesn't it? Could you give us a little bit of a background on, I think it's fantastic here, up here, Bradford University has a Centre for Peace Studies. What is the purpose of something like that, the Centre for Peace Studies?
This is the main purpose for this center. Like for me, as Nabila came from conflict area, to understand what is the sources of the conflict. It's not only the conflict. Sometimes it's because of war, because of lack of resources, because sometimes there is different kind type of issues that make conflict, like natural resources, like being in a weak condition, something like this. Such center give you like the brave to learn different techniques in order to address conflict in different way, not to be like just hearing about conflict. Now you have to know how to deal with this conflict, what you can do to make the conflict less, and how you can work to make people who are living in conflict more resilient, like focusing on the solutions, not on the problems itself. And like to being in such course or such department will help you that to learn from other people who came from different areas as well, looking for peace, and they want to learn about their experiences about like Africa, Asia, what happens, what kind of other conflict, and you can learn from each other. And such program is really brilliant and effective, and gives the people the space to make something different, to change their life for better future.
And is it really about sort of negotiating a way of seeing differently rather than just talking about this is good, this is bad, how you can navigate, I guess, from
Yeah,
what seems like a very hopeless position?
yeah, because of like the program allow you like to be in a meeting one to one with like supervisor, with some people who are working in human rights agencies. Like one of the brilliant experience I had during staying in this department, visiting Oslo and discussing the Palestinian cause and what happening since Oslo agreement, and asking them what the coming issue, what is the accountability method, what's happening after signing Oslo agreement, and to meet like peace centers and to look for their researches in different countries, as well to be in touch with some students who already have a good experience from their past work about working in this department, something like this. All of these, like being in touch and being on the ground with some people, this is make your knowledge better and wide your experiences, and that you think differently when you are addressing things regarding peace and conflict.
And Nabila, I'm right in understanding, aren't I, that you yourself are Palestinian and so come from that perspective.
Actually, because I am Palestinian and came from long-term conflict, it's for me it's like a shock at the beginning, because I all the time I'm thinking, no, there is nothing called peace. I will stay all my life in such situation, and I start now. Why I decide to be like a victim? No, I'm not a victim. I am Palestinian. I have a right. I can demand. I can defend. For that, I did my master degree, my thesis in youth resilience, and the role of youth resilience in changing communities. So I feel like inside each one there is a power that can use to make a change in his life and the life of the people he beloved.
Yeah, and I think that word resilience is what we're seeing in a lot of our films as a theme. Actually, it's really interesting. So I think it's learning those different things. And what do you think I mean, I don't think I have enough knowledge of understanding. Do you feel like it gave us a real insight into see, because we don't really see that many women's stories from that area that I'm aware of.
Yeah, actually, Mariam is not the only one. You will see, if you are like looking for strong women, you will find women who are really fighting in the political field. You will find women who fight in the social life. Or there is too many women like get divorced and create her own life after. Like, but the point is, we are as a human, as a people looking for sustainability. Once we have to support women, we have to educate women first, make her aware about the community, like then give her the opportunity like to launch something sustainable that will help her to be like bigger and bigger and to make her own space. Such projects will help like in creating strong dependent women aware of their rights and aware of their duties. And this is the point for Mariam. She's like creating the atmosphere and creating the environment by establishing this project in partnership with many women, and then she start to looking for something bigger to make these women resilient and stable and economically empowered.
I think you're right. I mean, what I love about the film, there's so many things, but it's just the joy of people coming together. I mean, food, we know, is a way of bringing people together. It's
Yeah,
so simple, but it's so smart. And also I love the fact that you can see that even though everyone is having to deal with a lot of stuff, and Mariam has all those terrible hurdles with bureaucracy, as everyone does, but they have such fun, don't they, together?
yeah, because they believe in the idea, they believe in what they are doing, so they create like psychological atmosphere, good psychological atmosphere. They create good relation as a family. They support each other, they help each other. No one thinking differently, they are thinking in the same, how to make this project successful and how to fulfill their demand to be strong, not relying on others. Once we have the same theme, the same goal, the environment and everything then will be the same. But for those women, because they came from same culture, they came from the same economic situation, all of them wanted to improve their economic situation as well. All of them wanted to be like out of house, not just doing house work and just staying home. They want to make something for themselves, so they have to fight, they have to create this good atmosphere. For that, they are succeeding in making things different. And
And Nabila, sorry, how important do you think it is for, you know, because I know when I'm in a bad situation, my world kind of gets smaller.
yeah.
But what I think is really interesting is how important is it to have contact from outside of your own life, to have support from international agencies, to have support from people around the world who can watch a film like this and see it and contact.
Do you know, the point is each one has a key. Like, for example, if I am depressed, the people around me, they can know what is the key that can they enter from me. Like some women, because they really like under pressure, under stress, and they didn't fulfill the needs of their family, and they are like suffering and carrying the responsibilities because of the situation is like the same for everyone. Like they know how to reach each other. It's very important to have peer-to-peer support. Like for example, if I am a youth, if I am sitting with the same youth from the same age and discussing some ideas and discussing some troubles, that will let me see, no, I am not the only one in this situation. Look, he's worse and better than me dealing with the issues. Now we can learn from each other. Putting people together and engaging them and discussing something with them, that will help to know what is the real situation and where are you from this life. For that, Mariam is she did the same. Mariam, she put the women in the same pool and she discussed with them in a very friendly way to look how she can help. And then they all together agreed to do something that they can do as a women. They said we can do cooking. What about making food for others? But for example, if I'm sitting with students, I will say I want to do establish organization to support youth in different countries. Each group will have different demands, different overview. The point is how you can take out the ideas from their heart and make it alive in front of their eyes. That's what Mariam did. Mariam take the ideas from the heart of those women and launch it to the world. And she tries to get license, to get permits for everything in order to make this dream is alive and real for everyone. For that, she succeeded to reach to take those women from being victims to being supported and resilient women. And this is the point how Mariam she succeeded.
And I think what's really exciting is that obviously she says herself, I'm just one person. Actually, all of these women have learned skills, are going out there, are going to be doing different things. So it's actually spreading out like ripples, isn't it? It's not just Mariam, it's actually all the women. And I have to say, look, we have to finish up soon. If anyone wants to find out, we'll put a little update on our website about this and also about Bradford Peace Studies. I just can't thank you enough for bringing your insight and your experience, Nabila, for today. And also just to say, I think everybody's going to want to go and, you know, have lunch now. They'll be so hungry having watched the beautiful, it was torture watching the film sometimes.
I wish all are in Lebanon and they can order food from Mariam at the moment.
I know, wish we could. Thank you once again so much. We're really, really grateful for your time today.
Thank you so much. This is my pleasure and really let me thanks everyone working on such festival and such amazing idea that let us know what is the world is running in what way and how the people are dealing with their hard circumstances. Thank you so much for this great opportunity. Wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And thank you to Col Develop Palestine Support Group as well for being our co-presenter.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.